Welcome back.
Welcome back to another episode of the Sunny Side Up podcast.
Although it's not sunny today, Pam.
I know. I had high hopes for today because yesterday was like
It's true.
getting there. And then this morning I woke up, I was like, come on.
It's disgusting.
Yeah.
It's gray, but it is bright because we have a guest today. We are excited. It's been a little while since we've had a guest.
Yeah. And we have a great guest. I think it's going to be a really fun episode. I'm excited for this
Oh,
one.
it's going to be a great episode, Pam. I wonder why.
I know. I'm just excited to be participating through listening.
Are you?
And not really having to be involved with this conversation in specific.
Oh, interesting, guys.
Someone else can take the heat of the conversation.
That's right.
Of your love for matchmaking.
Ooh.
And I can just
Sit back and relax.
sit back and relax. Yeah.
It's true. It's true. But today, guys, we have an exciting episode, and we're going to be talking kind of about dating.
Yep. Leah's favorite topic.
Wow. Yeah.
All Leah wants in life is to host her own dating show. That's
It's true.
all she asks.
It's true. It's
Yeah.
true. I just need like ABC. What are these other big shows?
I know.
Disney Channel. Whoever you are,
Yeah.
reach out. I would love to be the next host of Canada's Bachelorette.
Yeah. I think you would do a great job. So I agree. Give her the job. She needs it.
But Canada's Bachelorette, but like Christian style, like
Yeah.
almost like a speed dating. Oh yeah, I'm guys, it's coming.
Well, today we have a little taste of this.
We do.
Maybe
We do.
a mini episode of it.
Yes, this is Allie, guys, and I am so excited to have her on. Allie and I met, quite a few years ago now.
Maybe 5.
Yeah, maybe 5 years ago, at the church that we were both attending at the time.
Yep.
So I thought it would be amazing for you to come on and kind of share a little bit about your story and your dating life. And so kind of just tell us a little bit, who Allie is.
Okay.
But like how old you are if you want to share that.
Yeah,
and,
we'll share.
just different things. Because I think that a lot of people that do watch this podcast, we have like a wide variety of ages and apparently a lot of men.
Yeah, this is
Which-
a new revelation.
Yes.
We're just finding this out.
That's right.
Yeah. Hi, everyone.
That's
Thanks
right.
for watching us.
That's right. Thank you,
Appreciate
men,
it.
for watching us because we
Yeah.
have just recently read into our analytics. And I think it's only 57% was female and the rest were male.
Right. So,
Right?
I feel like this is probably like their guilty secret pleasure. Like men will be like, no, I've never heard of it. Meanwhile, they're like watching it in their garage like every night. But
That's
like
right.
no one will admit to it, like watching soap operas or something.
That's right. It's their
Yeah.
guilty pleasure.
That's right. And I love that. I think
So
it's
now
so-
we need to
it's so
change the
funny.
way that we word
Right.
things and do
Yeah.
things here.
Yeah.
But so men, if you're watching, I'm just saying.
We appreciate
We
it.
have 2 amazing contestants today.
Oh, wow. Okay. Wait a second.
She's ready.
Hold on. We have one willing contestant, which is a change.
One willing,
So-
one unwilling, but we'll talk about that
true.
later.
That's very
But
true.
Allie, tell us a little bit about who you are, a little bit of your backstory, and just pave the way for us.
Okay. Well, now it feels more like I thought there would be only women watching this.
Yes. No
So
pressure.
I have had to practice. No. I'm Allie. I'm
Yes.
35. I live in Barrie now. So
Okay.
I don't know if I should put that on the internet, but whatever.
Well, it's out there.
Well, if there's any eligible suitors
Yes,
out there,
that's
that is where
right,
I'm
that's right.
located.
criminal check.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
will require a vulnerable sector check.
Yes.
We could get into stories about dating criminals online, but
Oh.
stay tuned.
Okay. Here we
so-
go.
So yeah, as Leah said, we met in Toronto, so that's a big part of my story. It's like
Yeah.
having been a city girl, and then I ended up back in Barrie, and that's been the last almost 2 years of my life.
Okay.
And that kind of kicks off a lot of the dating story because in my life I didn't date a lot.
Okay.
I had a boyfriend for a short period of time back when I was 20, which was very short-lived, but it was like very catalytic in my life.
Yeah.
But to go back a bit further, I always was a Christian. My
Yep.
parents were Catholic, but sent me to a Christian school. And then when I became a Protestant, it was shocking.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I didn't know what that meant, obviously, back when I was a kid, but that really just laid a foundation for always knowing that God was real and that he was worth it.
Okay.
And so I look back on a lot of my life and, kind of was always just felt very purposed in believing in God. And so that's partially why, well, I don't know if that's partially why I didn't date very much, but I just had a very high standard for my life and didn't really meet anybody that I was.
And now, where were your
interested in.
parents in this? Like, were they parents that were like, you're not dating till you're 20? Or were they parents that were like, like it's a free for all.
Yeah, somewhere in between, maybe.
Okay.
But when I did have that relationship at 20, my mom was like, well, just have fun. Why is it so serious? And I was like, girl, you do not understand that I actually like really want a certain thing in my life.
Yeah.
And that relationship, I would say, was like abusive. It was not very respectful. And that was really challenging. I mean, obviously that was challenging, but I mean, more so because he came into my church group and then was trusted because of my reputation and then was like put on stage and stuff. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, stuff was going on that shouldn't have been going on. And I was kind of like, I'm a little too naive to understand, you know, is this normal?
Right.
Is this just like, oh, all guys are addicted to sex or something?
Sure.
And fortunately, we didn't cross any particular boundaries, but it was still you don't have to have sex to be hurt by sex. So
absolutely.
Yeah, we're just getting right into it.
Go. I mean, I love that.
Well, yeah.
Well, I don't love that for you.
No, I understand.
I mean, I love the conversation that we're having. And I think that's, I mean, we're starting with a bang here, but
Let's go.
No pun intended.
Oh, Leah.
That
banging was not involved.
That's right. I know. That's right. But we're just starting off. But you know, it is something that within the church world, purity and purity culture, and what that looks like, what that feels like. I think we've had a lot of episodes that we've talked about. What does it look like to date? What red flags are you looking for?
Yeah.
We talk a lot about, you know, not being unequally yoked, but what does that actually mean? Because you can both be Christians, but if their character sucks, you know, good luck. So talk us a little bit about that, even if you want to use that relationship as an example, some red flags, some not, whatever.
Yeah.
What has been something that stands out to you about after that relationship?
Yeah, well, I just kind of wanted to set it up because that was like 12 or 15 years ago at this point. But God revealed to me last year that I had a lot of fear of men, not like fear of man, but like fear of men because of that experience, even though I've only ever been around really great guys other than that. So it was this weird thing of how come I've always had people speak so much life over me. I've always followed the Lord, but then the one guy that I chose to date really didn't treat me well. And so I think through that and just the confusion that it brought up, it really kind of deterred me from dating. Right. So I really didn't date for most of my life, despite like going to Bible college and being surrounded by amazing, very handsome international men.
Yes.
And
you went to Bible college in Australia.
Yeah.
You went to Hillsong.
So I went to, there's a lot of good looking guys in
That's
Australia.
right. They got a lot of surfer boys down there.
They also have that. Yeah. I was more into the Europeans, but
okay. Fair enough.
But like in terms of the type of guy that I'd even want to be with, I'm like surrounded by that. But nothing really happened there. And then it was only the end of 2024, my mom reprimanded me and was like, guys have always liked you. You have an attitude problem.
Wow.
Basically called me out. And I was 34 at that time. Yeah, 34. And it just really kicked me into high gear because I was like, I've always wanted to be a wife and a mother. I've done everything alone. And I look back on my life and I don't think I missed something.
Sure.
But I'm like, I want this as part of my life and it's not just happening.
Right.
And despite following the Lord all my life, he hasn't brought anybody in that I want to, or I've wanted to spend it with. Maybe I need to be more intentional and like kind of treat it. This sounds so unromantic, but kind of treat it like a job. Like, I'm going to study it. I'm going to get good at it. I'm going to figure out what I need to improve in myself to be more attractive, because I had been hearing over the years that maybe I came off as like unavailable. And I look back and probably I was putting that out there. And so I was like, how do I shift that? Because this is something that's important to me and I need to work at it.
I think that's what it was interesting to me about when Leah kind of explained why she wanted to have you on. And she was saying that, just how intentional you are with dating. Like you have a goal, you have a certain type of relationship that you would like to be a part of. And so then you were like very strategic about like positioning yourself in the best way to meet somebody and then putting yourself out there to be in proximity to meet a lot of men. Because a lot of people too are like, I never meet anyone, but they're not like if you have your same job with the same people you know and you go and come home, if you don't try anything else, like how would you meet somebody? Yeah. So I'm so fascinated to know, like when you say, okay, you like what did you do? Like what things about yourself did you change to seem like more available? And then what specific strategic things did you do to like put yourself in like a dating pool, or did you go online, or like what did that look like for you?
Yeah, well, because one thing about me is I'm super social. So there was definitely like disappointment and frustration in me. I'm like, I don't know anyone who like has more friends than me. I don't know anybody who does. I mean, I'm being hyperbolic, but like I'm social. I've been involved in church all my life, like 3 services on the weekend. There's no shortage of opportunity. This isn't like she's waiting at home for the Amazon delivery guy. Like this is
yes.
She's out there. And I've always jokingly said, like, I'm easy to find.
Yeah.
Just being so social and all that, I realized, I just need to, like, I can't be shy about wanting this. I'm 34 at that time. I was like, I have to work at it. So a big thing for me was, like, the masculine, feminine, all my life being not a girl boss, that's awful.
Right. But you're kind of a girl boss.
But kind of a girl boss. Yeah. Super independent.
Yes.
I'm a leader. I'm very decisive. I'm happy to go places that most people won't go, and I've gone alone into those places. So it was like, okay, I want to be softer. Like I actually am very tender, and I actually am like very caring, and I want to be more maternal and stuff. And I love kids, so I am maternal, but it's like a lot of these things haven't been tested because I've been just doing my own thing for 20
so independent
years. Yeah, so I think, I don't know, I guess I just like approach dating differently, just maybe change some of my beliefs. It's hard to look back now, and I don't really remember what it was. I just remember like the series of guys that each one kind of played a different role, and those guys I predominantly met through online dating.
Okay.
So like the first guy, I call him face tattoo guy. He was the December 2024 guy, and he kind of kicked it all. I know, like.
Okay, so hold on. Take us back. So
Yeah,
he had a face tattoo, and you're so open at this point that you were like, let's just give this a try. Like, what kind of face tattoo was it?
No, it's like a keyhole.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And what
wasn't
was the
dating because I liked
significance? Was there a story behind the keyhole?
Apparently, he had an ex-girlfriend that was a tattoo artist.
Okay. That she just wanted it.
He just let her draw all over his body. I don't know.
Wow.
We didn't date for that long.
Yeah. Okay.
But,
so I love this. So we're starting with face tattoo guy.
on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's hear it. How did it go?
Well, it was actually really good, but we met on a Christian dating app. So that's also why. I wanted to be more open, like date the unexpected. Maybe I don't really know what I like. And he was very respectful of me. Had very different past than me, obviously, but I'm not really expecting to date somebody that's had the same past as me.
Sure.
But yeah, he treated me very well, and he made me, like, I felt very attractive with him, and that was kind of a thing in my past. Like, I've always enjoyed looking nice and all that, but I never felt attractive to men. And so that was one thing I needed to kind of like learn and stop being so like hard shelled about.
Okay.
He's a part of my story because that kind of kicked off this year of feeling really safe to like date different guys. So I'm really grateful to face tattoo guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I love that, just how even God works in like the littlest ways, right? You finally open yourself up and you're like, hey, I'm going to do this. Yeah. And each guy that you've probably dated has been like a stepping stone and a like stairwell to what will come in the future. And you're learning something from every single one of them.
Yeah.
So I love
definitely
that.
the story.
Wow.
Yeah. And so was a series of guys, people would set me up on dates, and fortunately I've just met really great guys. But the story with Christian dating is that you can meet good guys, but they might not be totally aligned. So that's been the main
kind of back to the whole character thing. So what do you mean by that? Like when you're saying we're not totally aligned, even though they're Christian, what does that look like for you?
Well, I would say that the experience has been a lot of guys who say they're Christian and they want this Christian vision, but they don't really want to act like the Christian leader that is necessary to have such a family.
Okay.
So again, it's been like nice guys.
We don't know anything about that.
No.
I mean,
our stories are nothing like that.
we didn't make those mistakes.
No, I hear it's very rare.
Yes. Yeah.
No.
Yes.
Wow.
Okay.
But so I don't want to like put down anybody, but yeah, just not quite what I want for my life when I feel very called by God. And
Yes.
So basically that kind of leads us to almost exactly a year ago. I was set up with this guy. We had a short relationship, but it was really meaningful to me. And it was quite a shock when he broke up with me, because it was very intense, very quickly. Like within 7 days, he's like, I'm set on you. And I'm
love
meeting
bomb.
his parents. I think there were some other things going on. It wasn't just a
Love bomb.
Yeah, I do believe in processing it that he did mean it, but
Sure.
then he had to face that he was not actually ready for the things that would, again, be required for what we were
Wanting.
talking about.
Yeah.
And I was like in a much healthier place in my life where I was like, well, I know what I want, and you have to figure out what you want.
Right.
And even when he broke up, he's like, thank you for like loving me unconditionally. And we didn't say
Wow.
we loved each other, but
Sure.
like, you know, being the first woman to really see me for me and these things. So I do believe that it was like real, but it was also, I'm just going to say, him having to face that he couldn't give me what I needed.
Right.
But then we can look back and say I was a silly girl or whatever, but we were friends then for a few months after that.
Okay.
And like truly just friends.
Yeah.
Because it was summertime and it was like, everyone else is working.
Yeah.
He's available. Let's go to
Let's
this
just
new
hang out.
restaurant.
Yes.
Let's do this thing. But it was always me initiating and all that. So I finally, at the end of September, and I also felt really on mission, like, which again, this could sound like a silly girl thing, but I prayed about this a lot. And that's kind of this hard tension when you end up in a situation that feels heartbreaking, but you're like, no, I know I sought the Lord in this. Like, I wasn't being just some silly, desperate girl that wanted the affection of some guy. I really cared about him. I know he really cared about me.
Sure.
And I felt like God had made our lives intersect, like to show him certain things.
Yeah.
But then I learned so much about God through this. And I would say that it's the closest I've ever been to what I'm wanting. And I have to say, like, it wasn't great, but it was like, fine, like this guy, we got along really well. We're in the same community.
Sure.
We had same interests and like vision for our lives, but then he's not ready.
Yeah.
And that was so confusing. I was like, what was the point? Why
Right.
did we have to do this at all? Like, could have just been dating around.
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
and so that it didn't take the wind out of my sails quite at that point, but it did really frustrate me.
Sure.
Like, it was disappointing, obviously.
Yeah. Like talking to you, I hear your heart and I hear how vulnerable you're being, just the journey that God has done with you and walked you through. Because I just know, I'm sure people are listening thinking, it was one of the questions I had at the beginning, and I feel like you've already are answering it without even me having to ask you. But just the whole, when you're a little girl and it's like ingrained in you, and we've talked about this, that I want to get married and I want to have kids and I want to have a family, and that doesn't happen in the timeline that you want it to, and then you hear scriptures like, well, God will give you the desires of your heart, and you're like, okay, God, but like, I'm waiting, but I feel like you're kind of answering it in a way. And I mean, you can elaborate on that more as you come to almost reconcile within yourself. Like, this is a desire I have, God, and I'm wanting this from you. Yeah, I mean, you're going to get there, I'm sure. But like, what does that look like in like the waiting and the holding? Because, the promise never looks like the journey, right? We want the promise. We want the end game, but we never want to go through the valley to get there. Like, we want a mountaintop experience. Everyone wants that. I mean, people listening want the valley. They want the nitty gritty. They want the stories, whatever. But for the person living it, you want to fast forward 100 years to like get there. But I mean, they were in the desert for a long time.
A long time.
Right?
Yeah.
And so in that, when you're being promised, like a land, when you're being promised a future, when you're being promised like, the Lord will provide and he will give you the desires of your heart, what does that waiting look like? What does that journey look like? And I think you're starting to explain it. So obviously continue.
Yeah, but I will say I have no idea. I'm still also figuring that out. But
Yes.
then I've also had so many revelations of like, we're all waiting for something. So it's like, yeah, I'm waiting for a life partner, but there's, other people that have followed the Lord all their lives and they're waiting for children, or they're waiting for their kids to overcome addiction or whatever it might be, or health diagnosis. So I think that sometimes we elevate certain waitings over others when I believe we're all waiting for something. So the desires of the heart, I think it's like holding intention. Like, God has been so faithful to me, like crazy. And yet it's so hard sometimes to believe that God's going to give me a partner. And it's like, that does not line up with the character of God. God's not like, yeah, like, stop asking for so much.
Sure.
But it's like, we are not, for one, I don't believe we're entitled to that. So it's like also controlling the spoiled child in me that wants to be like, you're a tease or something.
Yeah.
And really, truly trying to submit to God's timing and his sovereignty and his choice for me.
Because I love how, because so many times when people want something, or they're in a season of in between, like going from this to that, and you know what you want, but it's so easy to just sit and wait for it. But yours, I love how you're saying, like, yeah, you're waiting and trusting that God has a plan for your life, but you're also doing all the work that you can do on your end. So you're saying, like, let me do some self-reflection. Like, how am I coming across to people? Let me make sure that I'm putting myself out there, having friends set me up with people, being courageous enough to go on blind dates or being set up, going online. Because I think so often, you know, you hear people say, oh, I want this or that, but they're like, oh, I want God to bless me with a new job. But they don't hand out one resume. They don't go job searching at all. It's like, do you expect someone to knock on your door and offer you this job? Like, you have to do, I think God loves to work, you know, in teamwork with us, right? Like, we do all we can, and then he'll meet us in the middle and do what he can on maybe like a miraculous side, and then something beautiful happens. But I love that you're not just sitting kind of like having a pity party, being like, well, it's not fair that I'm at this stage of my life and I don't have all these things that I want, and my friends have them, and it's not fair, and you're just mad at God. You're saying, okay, what can I do? Like, I'm going to put myself out there, even if it brings experiences that are good, bad, whatever, but you're doing it. And I love that, because that's hard. And not a lot of people do that. Like, they actually chase the dream that they have, which sounds like what you're doing.
Thank you. And I will thank you. And I'm trying, for sure. There were many years of sitting back and not being intentional, but I think it's getting to know the Lord more and his character, and then also like truly, like really trying to seek out what does that mean for my life, and and not comparing, because it's true. I've watched like all my good friends find good guys and get married and have kids, and so blessed to have these amazing friendships. But then it's like, you know, am I just so special that I have to be the single one? Or then I'm like, oh, no. Or is it like I'm too scary or something? And of course you can go down all those mental pathways to like haunt yourself. But instead it's like, okay, it's you and me, God. Like, I don't want to sound, I'm so spiritual, but I've been very blessed to like know God all my life. And
to have this, I think that in the season that you're in, it's developing such a rich relationship, right? And I'm even going back to kind of what you said a few minutes ago, where you were saying, you know, you've been given so many things in your life, and cars and businesses and different things. And so like, you know, his character, but then when you're hoping for something and waiting on something that hasn't happened, it's very easy to second guess God's character. Very easy. And to wonder, you know, what does that look like? But I think, and in stories to come, I'm sure you're going to share that. You know, I had that recently where, I can't remember if I shared this in the podcast, whatever. Anyways, where I was struggling because my son's about to make decisions for university in the next couple years, and I'm really struggling with like his future. And I was having some really bad days being like, God, like, I don't know. And so I'm in worship one morning, and I'm realizing, oh, I'm not fully trusting God here with his future, because the one area that I trusted God with all my heart, and I begged and pleaded and sought the Lord, was to heal my first marriage. And so that didn't happen, obviously. And so in that, apparently, all these years later, God is still, you know, like digging deep to like uproot things in me to be like, you need to work on that, because you know, like there's free will, there's free choice, all those things. We know all that. But my heart was like, well, if you couldn't heal my marriage, which is the only other important thing that was in my life, how am I supposed to trust you with my son? It's hard when you've seen God's faithful hand, but yet in the one area that like is like number one in your life or priority, that you're still waiting on that and what that looks like. And I know that you were saying this takes you to a year ago, so I'm sure there's some good stories in there.
It can be so easy to have these certain areas that we feel like we can consistently trust God in. Like, okay, work, like God's shown up many times for me in work. But what the area that's always felt impossible was in love and relationships. Right. So that relationship ended, as I said, and then it was friendship, and then it was like, okay, this is not an indefinite friendship. Like, I'm looking to meet somebody to spend my life with, and I can't have this ex-boyfriend hanging around.
Sure.
That was hard for him to understand. But anyways, so that's kind of an important point, because then a few months after really being like, okay, that's it, gonna do this as vague as possible, he sent me some information I shouldn't have had.
Right.
And that really devastated me. And because I felt like my compassion and care for him was being abused, essentially. And I don't mean to keep throwing that word around, but like being taken advantage of. Yeah. Because he was like, well, we're friends. And I was like, I don't want to know that.
Yeah.
So that sort of set off this whole thing at the end of last year, beginning of this year, where I really felt like I was being kind of tormented by this information. And I wasn't sleeping, like I was a wreck over it. And I was really fighting with the Lord, because I was like, let me at him. Like, let me just tear strips off of him. Like, I know that he really values my words. I could fix this right now. And then I would only be hurting myself. But instead I had to realize that, like, in my waiting on the Lord to fix things and heal things, I was having to recognize that I felt like I kept getting hurt by God. I brought this book because I really love it. Okay. I was reading this at the time. It's called Relentless Generational Blessings by Arthur Burke. Anyways, not a guy I know, but and in the second part of the book, he starts talking about like honor and how in costly obedience we honor God, even if it feels like it's going to cost us something. Oof. Yeah.
Goosebumps.
Can I read a bit?
Yes, absolutely.
I'm just going to read the parts that I underlined, so you don't really get the context, but I think you'll still understand what it's saying. But it's like, these consistent surprise endings to hurtful stories grow my faith and enable me to obey God with alacrity. We're not really sure how to pronounce that. When he sends me into costly obedience, I emphatically believe that he has planned good things for me, regardless of the short-term evidence. And so that, and there's a few other things, but essentially it came down to like honor. And I felt like I do not have permission to say anything more than I did when the information first came in. And it was just flowing into other areas of life where I also had to be like releasing things constantly, like in my church world and in other relationships where it was kind of overflowing, and just really having to like be silent and go to God with things rather than like trying to deal with things head on, which is my natural personality. Having to navigate now at 35, like, okay, it's not going to be I'm not looking for a perfect relationship.
Absolutely.
And even in that short relationship being like, okay, this thing isn't really good, but is that just like something I'm going to figure out as we go? Like, is he going to grow in these things? Are we going to grow in these things? Like, what is just new and what is like the no? Ooh, I just made that up.
Oh, that is a line right there.
No, but like but that's also the faith, right? Yes. Like, there are going to be things in even the right relationship that are still like unclear, but I do agree with you. There should be like a peace and a bit of a knowing, a confirmation, but it's like that will come from the Lord.
Yes.
And like really trying to trust that I will receive that from God, and that he'll protect me from the wrong things.
Yeah. And that he'll put people in your life that will hopefully rally around you to be confirmation. You know, that's also super important, I think, to surround yourself with people that know your situation. And ultimately, yes, you want to hear from God. Yeah. But I believe that confirmation is like another part of that. And that's why God surrounds you with community and accountability. We've talked about that last week a little bit, right? So what does this look like for Allie now then? You're still dating.
No, I'm not actually.
Oh,
like, well,
we're not.
I would, but like I got off the apps. I was like, This is depressing. We didn't even really get into the spicy tea about
No.
online.
I want to hear the online.
Yeah,
You?
Pam wants to hear some of the online spice.
Well, I don't want to scare you away when you do feel ready.
Yeah, she won't.
Ooh, that's a bold thing to say.
But wait, before we go to that, where are you at now?
Where I'm at now is that my faith is in a different stratosphere. So good luck, boys.
Right, right.
No, I again just like really I have to believe that
God.
there is a man alive somewhere on earth, and I believe he's in Barrie. Just
Yes.
let's really narrow this down
Yes.
and make it like nearly impossible.
Yeah.
Because that's how God works.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I'm like, okay.
But this is
not
something
that-
you're
not that
still
it's easy.
wanting.
Oh, very much so. Yeah.
Yes.
I still whine about it a lot to the Lord, but I'm like, okay, I really want whatever God has for me. And I think through this journey of the past year has made me like extra serious about what I'm looking for. I am hoping I get a phone number tomorrow, or that he asks for a phone number tomorrow. So there's someone I have my sights set on.
Okay.
But we'll see.
Okay.
So I'm just asking for setups at this time because I don't want to do the online thing. It's like just ridiculous.
It's really, which,
And obviously that's like, we have to have abundance mindset.
yes.
Not to be new agey.
Yeah, it does work for some people.
I do know, like, one of my closest friends, she met her husband online, and he's like awesome, and she's awesome, and
It can work.
it can work.
But we want you to give us just a couple spicy stories. The listeners
I would love
want
to give you some
a couple spicy stories.
Because there are a lot of hilarious things that have happened online. And the thing is that there are great guys online. Like, yes, there are great stories, but I have also always struggled with like
Guys, Pam has to go home. Her dog's barking.
I have a bad attitude today. I'm going to try to keep it in check. Okay.
Yeah, come on. I'm trying to keep my faith high too, Pam.
Sorry. Dragging you down.
No, like I always want to speak. Like, I have had mostly good experiences on there. Just like not my guy, not the kind of guy that I want to end up with. So, for example, I talked to this guy for 2 months that lived far away, so we hadn't met yet, and like thought we were pretty aligned. He was very involved in church, going to these Bible studies and all this. And then when it finally came down to it, because I do always bring up like the sex conversation really early on, because I feel like that does show a certain level of commitment.
Yeah.
Like, what are you willing to give up or not participate in for a while? But also, what are your beliefs about that? I don't really care about, oh, you cannot do it. Great. So then I finally was like, oh, like, what do you believe about like the boundaries around physical boundaries in dating is usually how I phrase it.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, I could not have sex. I would die. I was like, okay, well, I see that we're not really aligned because, just like, well, good luck. Like, are you having sex right now? Like, are you?
Right. That's
It's
what I
like,
asked.
it's like really, it's such a weird. That response I've gotten 3 times. Yeah, I would die. I'm like, okay, like really, if you were dating, we're probably dating for a year. Like, I do not want a long.
Yeah.
I think this is going to move fast.
quick.
So for like a year of not gratifying the flesh, like also hopefully flows into your real marriage of being able to say no to things that you shouldn't be doing.
That's a good
in
point.
marriage.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah. So that really shows where you're at. Like, I don't mind if a guy was like, oh, I would think that would be difficult. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's just reality.
Yeah.
But to be like, oh, no, I definitely could not do that. So that's always fun. I've had several guys just like suddenly be like, we didn't even meet. I'd had 2 guys in particular. We didn't even meet. And then like right before we were supposed to meet, he was like, it seems like you're seeing other people. I'm like, well, even if I was, like, we've never met. So, like, and you could also be seeing other people because we're just online pen pals that are, like, interested in meeting each other. And so I actually have a very long, if you guys want after the podcast, there's a really ridiculous conversation I saved that's, like, my party story. Because this guy, like, went totally off the rails and was accusing me of being a cheater, and we'd never met. And I was like, man, if I'm a cheater,
Like,
I've been single
that's
for
crazy.
20 years. If I'm a cheater, I'm a really bad cheater because I've only been single. So, except for like 9 weeks of my life. So,
That's crazy.
Wow.
yeah, so that was wild. And then my favorites, but this guy's actually my friend now, but met this guy online. We were just like talking theology. It was great. It was lots of fun. And then we were like getting excited about meeting, and going on a date. And then I knew that he had been radically saved in jail. Okay. So.
Because you like the bad boy, you already said that. You like a little, you like a
I like a
little,
little edgy,
you like a little
yes.
testimony, as Lisa would,
I like a little
Leah would
testimony,
say.
yes.
She likes a good
Yeah,
testimony.
that's right.
Yeah.
I think because like even though I didn't live a wild life, I've always been like the dissident one, like in the black sheep, just by like going to church,
Right.
a different church, and other things,
Yes.
convoy and stuff.
Yes.
So, anyways, I knew that but I do love a testimony. I'm like, God can do anything. And also,
Yeah.
I'm 35, so I'm not expecting someone to be like,
Right.
Here's your perfect
Yeah.
present.
yes.
Packaged nice and
Yeah.
retro.
So I say to him, like, oh, by the way, what's your last name? He's like, oh, I'm not ready to tell you that. And I was like, okay. Okay, I'll like respect that at first. And I was like, but I can find anybody on the internet. So I knew a little bit about why he'd been arrested, and I knew his hometown. So I looked that up, and then a newspaper article comes up with a mugshot. And it says human trafficking and pimping with his face. Yeah.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, so that's not going
not
to work.
just little
I
beanie.
run a
Yeah.
children's
Yes.
academy.
Right.
So I can't be with someone who can never come around my workplace, among other things. Anyways, when I brought it up to him, he was like, I'm relieved actually that you found it. I didn't do those things. I was hanging out with the wrong people though. So, and he's like, I was never convicted of those things. I was arrested for those things. I was like, that was next level. I was picturing more like, I don't know. What do people get arrested for? I'm not sure. But
Yeah.
You're like,
not human trafficking.
that.
and
One of
pimping.
the
Yeah.
Like,
So
maybe
That's
murder
a
or
lie,
slightly
for
worse,
sure.
but that's about it.
But
yeah.
I
Breaking
did
and
say like, hey, nothing can happen now because of that. And he's like, okay, I understand.
Okay.
So
So you've got some stories.
yeah, maybe that's why I date right now. It's just for the stories because
Yeah.
I do have quite a lot of stories, and it's
And
only
then
been a year.
You had this one guy from the U.S. or something.
That was cool though. I did have a guy drive from Ohio to go on a date with me.
From Ohio to go on a date, Pam.
First date with me, yeah.
And where did you
Yeah,
go?
he was like a really nice guy. Just did like the spots downtown Barrie because my first time meeting wasn't.
Sure.
We just like spent the afternoon together, but
Just didn't go
really
anywhere.
nice guy, but just like not enough there to like no compatibility to be like, do I want to be with a guy from rural Ohio? No.
For American citizenship, I think I'd settle. I'm just saying. Allie, I'm just saying. I mean,
That doesn't interest me. I'm like,
Little green
I guess I'm
card?
called to Barrie.
you don't want a little green card marriage action happening?
No, I want more.
Yeah.
Leah.
Pam would do it.
I would do it.
See? There we go.
I'll see if I can.
That's right.
I deleted his number. They all get deleted.
That's right, guys. If you want Pam to date, just tell her you're an American citizen and she'll do it.
That's true. I probably will.
See? I cracked the code.
Talk about settling.
My standards are so high. Except there's one like.
I cracked the code. A green card marriage.
So we have to put her on. You have to put her on American dating websites.
Allie. I didn't even think about that. Wow. Allie's just opened a door for us, Pam.
You're welcome.
Pandora's box has been opened. See, she's it's the first time. It's the first time. She is not saying no. Ladies and gentlemen, we have cracked the code. If you're an American
good luck.
watching this and you want to date, feel free to DM us.
But actually, that probably is a better strategy, anyways, because the American boys tend to be a lot more forward. And
it's true. Canadians are just too nice. I think we really
I
are
think
too
there's
polite.
Too much something in the water. I don't know.
Too much.
You need those Southern values too.
Yes.
I think that's helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which we don't have a lot in this area.
that's right. But we heard it. We heard it from your mouth today that
On video.
on video.
Didn't say anything.
Well, you're going to watch back and watch your facial expressions. And actions and facial expressions are more than words, Pam. So it's going to happen, guys. Okay, so rewinding, we've laughed. We've talked a lot about different things. Like you said, you're off the dating websites. You're open to being set up.
Yeah.
But you're just kind of waiting on the Lord. At this point, waiting on the Lord, but taking action.
Yeah, like I'm trying to stay open and stuff. But yeah, I guess I would even say I don't really feel, I'm not trying to over spiritualize this, but
Right.
like last year it was very much about going on dates with
Yes.
like a variety of guys, even the guys that everyone was Christian
Yes.
in theory. That's what they said that they wanted,
Sure.
but not necessarily like the level of Christian that I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Like a man that could really like lead our home.
Yeah.
But so I think because last year was like a lot more exploration, like I actually talked to probably 20 guys.
Wow.
And I
Wow.
went on 8 first dates. Like I did the
Okay.
whole dating wrapped for
Yes.
my girlfriends at the end
Yes.
of the year.
Amazing.
They all got funky names like Face Tattoo Guy.
Yes.
But yeah, so it was like there was a lot of experience through
Right.
that. And now I'm kind of like, I have a business to build and I'm out there and I'm happy to tell everybody that I want to be set up,
Yes.
but I don't really want to do the online thing.
Yeah.
And yeah,
And that's where you're at. Now, for somebody watching that's, whether they're
really
young.
interested in me.
Yes. Well, that too. If you're watching and you're interested, DM us.
Got a handsome son.
That's
the
right.
age category that reads his Bible every day.
You're at the age where you could date the son or the dad.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's true.
Yeah.
Allie,
It's true.
the son or the dad, or both.
know.
Date one, find out if
No.
it goes
Yeah.
well, and then date
Yeah. Don't do that. Want more for me.
No, but I'm just saying. I mean, what is if the son wasn't
That's
for you, but the
weird.
dad is for you?
I'm not comfortable with that. So I do not consent.
If you haven't learned anything around here, Allie, we don't do consent.
No, that's true.
We just.
The poor guys, like my ex-girlfriend's my stepmom.
That's right.
No.
That's so
Yeah, we
awkward.
don't need Jerry Springer life.
That's right. That's right. But no, in
We
a
already
serious
have some pretty
note.
funky age differences in my family, so we don't need to carry that on.
Yes. Okay. So we won't carry that on. But I mean,
I'm trying to be open to anything.
you are.
But
Yes.
I would ideally like a certain type of
Absolutely.
yeah
Yeah.
story.
So for people listening that might be discouraged or might be like, I am in the season of waiting. I want to believe that God has somebody out there for me.
Yeah.
What is something that you could say to them to like hold on to? I mean, you've shared so many good tidbits and stuff, but like kind of like an ending. You really have found the sunny side in this process. I think that you really, really have. And that's why even just like watching you post a lot on Instagram and different stories. And I'm always like
Me?
for it and I'm here for it. I'm watching and I was like, Pam, we need to have her on. And I mean, I feel like there's so many, we're going to have you on again because I'm like, there's so many different avenues that we could talk to you about because you've just lived such a full life. And I love that. But like, what is, one thing that you could just share to anybody, male or female, because apparently we've got the male audience on here, just like when you're believing for something. And it doesn't have to be dating. It could be tied into just the waiting process of what that looks like.
Yeah, I think that it is what I shared about that Psalm 25 that really profoundly has impacted my life, and just really believing that God speaks and he will share with you what you need to know. And I think it's that word confide implies trust. And so that is a big challenge. Like, am I even trustworthy to God? And what does that mean to be trustworthy to God? And like also how generous that God like trusts us with information and his heart and like his vision for our lives, the value that he sees in our lives. So like, I don't want it to just be like, go to God, but go to God. Like he really will share with you what you need to know, but you have to also train those muscles. And yes, having great people around is important, but I think we can also cloud. There's just like the constant consumption of information and other voices that we don't always cultivate. Like our own hearing with the Lord, and it's constantly speaking to me because people can say all kinds of things. I've heard it all. I've been a Christian my whole life. I know all the right answers, but I needed God to speak to that and to give me direction on that. And then also being willing to like honor God through the painful process and the trust that's not only built between me and God, but like also the trust that I have in myself, in the sense of like growing in maturity and being like, I can overcome these things and I can face these things so that they aren't as daunting in the future. Like it has radically changed the way that I'm viewing this dating situation, which is the biggest question mark in my life. Like everything else is kind of in place.
That's right.
And beautiful. And
you have a very fulfilled life.
Yes, I have a wonderful life, but it's still a question mark of like, do I just keep doing what I'm doing, or do I get to share this life with somebody at some point and being like, I trust that God is going to do.
Wow.
And that God is good. And just one more
No,
thing
go.
that's held me
I love
through
it.
this whole time is also Psalm 84:11, where it talks about that there's no good thing that God withholds. And at the end of that verse, it also talks about going from strength to strength. And again, just trying to like take God literally, like going from strength to strength, that's a crazy concept. It's like you're spent, but you just keep getting stronger.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm going to literally believe in that too.
Yeah.
That like I'm exhausted or I like crawled out of a pit here, but I'm actually better than I was before, and I just keep getting better.
Yeah.
And then, one more revelation.
No.
It's just been like
Keep
jumping in
going.
revelation.
I love it.
When I was going through all that and felt like I was in turmoil, I did like some inner healing stuff.
Yeah.
And we prayed like to sever the connection with that ex.
Yeah.
And then it was like everything that's been taken from me has been returned to me. And truly my mind changed like immediately, actually.
Wow.
It was amazing. God is so kind. But it was like, yeah, everything's been returned to me, but like I actually count everything that I thought was lost as gain.
Wow.
And like
That's huge.
Flipping it to be like everything that seemed to be lack
Yeah.
is actually adding to my life. And has brought me closer to where I need to be and brought me strength and maturity. So
Yeah.
I hope that can maybe like encourage.
That's literally finding the sunny side. Like you literally have found the sunny side. And I just, maybe I'm like a romantic or like
maybe.
right? And the funny thing is I was so jaded too. So like, I don't even know. And I don't even know. There has been so many destructive marriages I've been around. I don't even it is a miracle that I believe in love. It literally is a miracle that I even still, the amount of DMs we get on a weekly basis about marriages being destroyed through infidelity, lying, cheating, and not just cheating, even like gambling, addiction. Like there's so many, that it is a miracle that I am a romantic, and I do believe. But I believe that Allie's going to come back on for part 2 with her man. And her ring, and that
Take this picture.
That's right. And that it will be like a beautiful story of you just waiting on the Lord and acting, but like waiting on the Lord.
Yeah.
And I love it. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thanks for having me.
It was fun. We had a lot of laughs, and we'll see about
Pam
Pam.
in the hot seat.
Yeah. Pam doesn't like to be in the hot seat.
The radar.
It's been a great episode, guys. We love you. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you to Allie for being here and sharing your vulnerable heart, because I do believe it really will help the men or women going through like a season of singleness and what that looks like, and to like hold on to hope and to cling to Jesus, because he truly is our only hope. So guys, thank you for joining, and we will see you next time. Have an awesome day.